Here we have the 2-hour price chart for Meta Platforms Incorporated, stock ticker META. This is the Facebook parent company, Instagram, WhatsApp, all those. So currently what we're seeing here is a bit of a reversal from the lows. I would consider this to be a strong reversal, but I do have a couple of problems with this that would need to be addressed. Currently, we can just kind of re-summarize the situation here. This has been one of the worst performers in the Mag 7 stocks and in the technology sector as a whole. The selling pressure really started about a week ago during last Thursday's trading session. I do continue to believe that trading session was kind of a turning point for the market. And I think it's going to kind of redefine how most of the market trades for the rest of the summer, and definitely how the technology sector and the semiconductor sector tends to perform for the rest of the summer. Meta Platforms does not fall into the semiconductor category, but I do think that it's obviously part of the Mag 7, and I do think that it's having more of a general influence on the market due to the fact that the declines have been so substantial, and the market has really had a very difficult time recovering these gains, even though there have been some significant attempts here to do so. So as we can see here, as these declines have happened, we have seen some upward spikes in trading volumes. That would be these green bars. There are many red bars here, but I think this has a lot more to do with traders being stopped out of positions rather than anything else. I mean, I think that people are basically trying to catch a falling knife here, probably trying to defend options levels. Because these declines have been very significant, and the first thing that I have to think about when I see price moves that are this large would be people with options positions, because there are clearly some people that are getting wiped out in those areas of the market. So, I do think that there was some options defense here of these levels, and this didn't work. I mean, this just was not enough to keep prices supported. Overall, we are starting to see a bit of a bounce today. We can kind of drill in here a bit and try to look at these price candles a little bit more closely. And here we can see that there's a little bit of an evidence of a turnaround here. You've got some larger red candles. You've got a bit of indecision here in the market with these smaller bodied candles, and then some slight gaps higher and a bit of a price rally higher. But at the same time, this candle did close lower, so it's a little bit difficult to call that a bullish candle when it's red like that. But the result there came from the fact that we did gap higher to start the day, and then we just kind of started trading lower. Overall, this continues to look heavy, in my opinion. We're starting to see gaps in both directions. We saw a gap here to the downside, and then initially we saw a gap to the top side to start the trading session. So those are dangerous environments to be in. I mean, that's generally not something that I would suggest people get into. Because it's just very easy to get stopped out. Even if you have the right side of the trade. I mean, you could even be on the right side of the trades in some of these cases, and still manage to get stopped out, simply due to the fact that there's so much whipsaw activity that's taking place in the market, price gaps and things like that. I mean, you could just quickly be stopped out, and then see prices just reverse in the other direction. So, some people are asking me if I think that the stock should be shorted. The answer to that would definitely be no. For the most part, I would still stay on the sidelines here with this one. I would not be getting involved in this type of price action. I mean, if you're long from lower levels, um, I still think that you have some support here that's a bit lower. I've been pointing to this 455 level, which posted during the May 31st lows. And then you've got the fact that, this is a massive, major decline here in a very short term period of time. This is not based on any fundamental news or anything like that. There wasn't a terrible earnings report or anything like that. Facebook's prior earnings report was not that bad either. It mostly just kind of, suggested that there was going to be some investment in AI. I personally don't see that as a problem. I don't know why the rest of the market did. So I thought that there was a negative reaction after Facebook's last. I still call it Facebook. Call it whatever you want. Meta. Um, uh, the prior earnings report was not so terrible, but there was a negative reaction after after that report. I thought it was an overreaction, and I still think that this is an overreaction as well. I would not recommend shorting the stock at this point. I mean, I feel like these moves are very extreme. And if you were, if you really wanted to get into a position here, I would definitely side with the buy side rather than the sell side. Just because there's momentum in the market doesn't mean that it's justified or rational. I think that meta platforms often encounter situations like this. They kind of have somewhat irrational reactions to earnings reports and things like that. I think they often get overlooked as a technology company because it's just kind of a silly social media company. They don't like produce graphics processing units or CPUs or more more quote more important hardware. I guess we can just phrase it that way. Um, the best we can come up with is like the Oculus Rift, which is like kind of a silly gaming device. It's not like they're creating NVIDIA products or, an Intel CPU or a Ryzen CPU or something like that. So, I think that this tends to get sold off in these types of situations very heavily. In my view, this reaction has been extreme, and I think it's an overreaction. Um, if we're looking at the indicator reading here, we can see that we have reached some pretty severely oversold levels here. We're not quite in extreme territory yet because we're still, we still saw ultimate lows here at 16 in the relative strength index. So we didn't quite reach that 10 level. That would be a signifier for an extreme sell-off. But I would still, this is a major price move to the downside. I would not recommend selling this stock at this point. I think most of the damage has probably been done here. The market is attempting to reverse, but we have seen this, previously when we were dealing with this 493 level that I've been mentioning for, several videos now. We did see some attempted bounce here, but there was not much follow through. Currently, if I had to side with one side of the market, I would side with the buy side. I think that the potential downside here, you could be looking at $12, $15 in downside versus, a fairly substantial move to the top side. If we can just start to recover here, we would probably need to see some better buying activity in other aspects of the market. We would need to see Nvidia stabilize probably in order for this to happen, in order for there to be a true reversal. But for the moment, overall, like my true bias here is still to stay on the sidelines until things start to stabilize here. I mean, we're just seeing gaps in both directions. This is a very messy price move lower. I mean, you can look at these moving averages if you're looking for some indication here about what's going on. This is a complete mess. This is like a tornado that you're stepping into here. So, we are seeing a bit of an upside reversal here. I'd like to see a bit more of a stable upside reversal before getting in. I am looking for positions to buy on the downside, but I'm not quite there yet. I would need to see a bit more evidence of stabilization first. Here's the current market analysis for Meta Platforms Incorporated, stock ticker META.